Thank you everyone for coming, and we're excited to have Lucid here. I'm going to do some formal introductions for our Lucid reps. So first we have Judd. Kat firmly believes in empowering people to achieve their full potential. A 10-year veteran of management side employment law, Kat was previously a shareholder and director at Clyde Snow and Sessions with experience in preventative advice and counsel, workplace investigations, and employment law training. Kat holds a bachelor's in business administration from Brigham Young University and a JD from the University of Utah. We have Peter Chun. Before joining Lucid in 2014, Peter helped build and scale several successful sales organizations at companies such as HireVue and InsideSales.com. With his passion for increasing sales productivity, he has built best-in-class sales teams through hands-on coaching and cutting-edge process development. Peter holds a bachelor's in economics from BYU. Originally from Honolulu, Peter enjoys the island life and initiated Aloha Shirt Fridays in the Lucid office. Candice Lambert. Candice is a recognized leader in both the accounting and tech industries. Her experience in automating and scaling accounting operations has been critical to driving Lucid forward through international expansion and rapid growth. Prior to Lucid, she was an advisor at Squire before leading 2 acquisitions and optimizing accounting operations at Advantage Exchange and Merits CX. Candice is a licensed CPA and earned a bachelor's and master's in accounting from the University of Utah, where she is an active mentor. We have Matt Dawson. Matt joined Lucid in 2016 after working in the video game industry for over 20 years at Access Software and Microsoft and Disney. Throughout his career, Matt has enjoyed mentoring software engineers and has helped build several high-performing software engineering teams. Matt holds a bachelor's in computer science from BYU and is on the advisory board for BYU's computer science department. And then we've got Lauren Sanders. Lauren joined Lucid in 2019 after graduating from the University of Utah with a bachelor's in management. She started on the deal desk team and enjoyed her time learning about revenue operations and cross-departmental collaboration. Over time, she developed an interest in talent acquisition and made a pivot to campus recruiting. She enjoys working with people and learning how to attract and retain top talent. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and Lauren, I'm gonna make you the host so that you can share your slides.
Great, thank you, Sarah.
All right, and we'll turn the time over to you guys.
Okay, it looks like we just had 3 people enter the waiting room when you transitioned it over to me. Let's see. I will, let's see, admit them. All right, I've never done that before. Okay, let me just close that out and share my screen with you all. Okay.
And one more thing I wanted to mention, if anyone has any questions for Lucid, please go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll answer those during our Q&A at the end.
Great, okay. Well, yes, thank you. As we already mentioned, we're really happy to be here with you all today to tell you more about Lucid and all of the things that make it the wonderful company that it is. So today, we wanted to cover our mission, our values, products, benefits, some career opportunities, and as you've already met some of our leaders, but you'll get to hear a little bit more from them. All right. Our mission statement is we help teams see and build the future. And this is now more important than ever to collaborate with anyone in the world at any time, as we've seen with COVID. So I think that, you know, we've been instrumental in helping teams stay connected through COVID. And yes, as Kat mentioned, we offer the only visual collaboration suite that help teams just collaborate and bring these ideas to reality. Our values. So our values are the motivators and beliefs that drive every action here. They're not something that we just have on our walls. I truly have seen every teammate live by these. They're the essential ingredients to our success and culture here. And I wanted to share my favorite value with you, and we'll hear some of our leaders' favorite values in just a moment. So my favorite value is teamwork over ego. Each person I've worked with at this company, I feel like has just shown me this over and over again. And in this, it's really helped create a safe space for me to be open and honest about what I know and what I don't know, and basically outsource where I need help. It can be hard to ask for help sometimes when you don't know how to do something, but I'm really grateful to know that I have the support and mentorship I need to do my best work. And the connections I think that I've made here will last forever. So that's my favorite one. But the other values we have are individual empowerment, initiative, and ownership, passion and excellence in every area, and innovation in everything we do. Great. So now I wanted to talk briefly about some of our products. So Lucid Chart is our flagship product, and it is an intelligent diagramming application that empowers teams to clarify complexity, align their insights, and build the future faster. Lucid Chart makes it possible for anyone to quickly make sense of complex systems, processes, or concepts so that they can get to work faster. Some ways I've seen this used on my team and other teams here is for documenting detailed processes and breaking down things that just have a lot of information and making it in an easy way to digest. Also, I've seen this used to create training plans and also journey maps for our internal and external stakeholders. This really helps drive collaboration and provide more insight and understanding into an organization's work. And if you haven't tried it before, I know some of you on here have, but you can try it for free. So you can either do a 7-day trial with our premium features, or I think you can just have a free version of the product. And our next product is Lucid Spark. So Lucid Spark is a virtual whiteboard application for free-form ideation, group brainstorming, and real-time collaboration across teams. This allows teams to build connections together in a virtual space in a fun and engaging way. Some of the ways that I've used Lucid Spark and seen it used by others over the last year, we use birthday cards, so we can celebrate each one of our team members virtually, and we can, go in and sign and add Giphies and all those things, so it makes it really fun. A recent project I used Lucid Spark for was to create our intern project showcase, which is essentially a virtual science fair that provides insight into what our interns learned during their internship. So people from the company were able to look at it, and you can just zoom in and read what our interns worked on and react to it. And it's just a really fun way to be able to see it. Another thing that I found recently was we have, there was a game added to our template library called What Do You GIF? And it's just like the game What Do You Meme, except you add, you select a Giphy and it just goes in right away, and people have to make a caption for what they think that Giphy means, and then people can vote on the best caption. So this is a really fun product, and they actually created this product last year over a course of, I think it was a few months or something. So it was a really amazing product that just came really quickly, and we've been able to use it a lot this last year. All right. So top businesses use Lucid products all around the world. The next slide will list a handful of well-known companies that use Lucid. And then we're trusted by 99% of the Fortune 500, which includes 30 million users in 180 countries. Sorry. Okay. All right. So here are some of the Fortune 500 companies that I mentioned that use our products. Some companies that really excited me on here were Whole Foods, Asana, Starbucks, and Amazon. And I know that these are all names that everybody recognizes. I never thought I'd work for a company where I'd see these massive, big names using our product. So that was really fun to learn. All right. Next, I would like to talk about our benefits, which are really, really exciting. We have incredible benefits at Lucid, and here are just a few of them. We have family leave, fertility discount, hospital indemnity. We have pet insurance, adoption assistance, mental health, sabbatical, and we have UTA passes. I wanted to point out in here, since there's a lot of them, I wanted to just highlight some of my favorite benefits. So my favorite ones would be the free mental health services for employers and their dependents. This was announced during COVID, and it honestly couldn't have come at a better time, because this was when we all were sent to work from home, and things were a lot more uncertain during that time. So it's been really nice to be able to have a virtual therapy service that you can just use whenever you need. Another favorite one of mine is we get a sabbatical after every 5 years of employment, which I thought was really unique. And then also fully paid medical, dental, and vision benefits. So it just makes it really, really possible for you to cover your family and just have really high quality insurance. Aside from the benefits, some unique perks that I wanted to point out are that we have catered lunches twice a week. We have quarterly team activities, and then we have on-site services. So this one's been really fun. We have dental exams at Lucid. I've gotten my teeth cleaned there before. We have a flu shot clinic. We actually did, I think, a haircut service once. So like a van came outside, and it was like this service that they just host there a few times a month. And then also we have blood drives there. So Matt Dawson actually runs our blood drive here at Lucid, and we had one last month. So it made it really convenient to be able to, come to work, and we had a clinic set up in one of the rooms, and just be able to donate and help save people, because they were really short on blood supply this last summer. And, I think a lot of people were hesitant during COVID to just go in and donate. So I really appreciated having this option available to me. All right, so now I would love to talk about some of our careers at Lucid. So here are just some of the current departments with open positions. We have sales, engineering, product management, customer success, finance and accounting, and revenue operations. So you can also scan the QR code on the slide to see a full list of available positions, because we are always hiring. And I checked with our director today, and we actually have a total of 88 open jobs today. So I know that there's a lot of options to choose from there. And if you see any roles you're interested in, we encourage you to take a look at the job details and apply. All right. So now that you know a little bit more about Lucid, I know you've already met a few of our leaders, but I would just like to turn it over to them to be able to just talk about themselves a little bit more and their favorite values here at Lucid. So I will start with Kat Judd, our SVP of People and Culture. Over to you, Kat.
Thanks so much. Hi again. So Kat Judd, and Lauren, if you want to go to the next slide, that'd be great.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Thanks so much. So mentioned before, so SVP of People and Culture. So I run HR. So I'm the head of HR. I report to the CEO. I've been with Lucid. I just hit my 4-year mark this week. So it was my 4-year work anniversary, and Lucid sent me this like amazing big package, and my team wrote me a card on like the Lucid Spark board. And anyway, it's just been really great. I really appreciate how Lucid celebrates their employees. And I mentioned before, I was an employment lawyer. So it went from employment law to heading up HR. And I have a 4-year-old son, Mr. Charlie there that you can see. Probably like a fun fact about me is actually more about my husband. He also went to BYU. He actually got his MBA as well from BYU, but he is a film producer and produced and edited Napoleon Dynamite, and has continued on in film. And now he has a documentary editing business, which has been really great because there's a lot of content needed right now for documentaries for all the different streaming services. So that's sort of fun. We go to different film festivals. We go to Sundance every year. We oftentimes go out to Telluride and sometimes a few others. But another fun fact is I'm pretty darn good at playing Texas Hold'em. And during the pandemic, I like discovered that I love hiking. And so I've like hiked all over here in Utah. So I'm also looking for other good hikes to check out. I wanted to talk about our values. Our values are really, really important to Lucid. It is one of the things that brought me to Lucid, and as head of people and culture, it's one of the things that I feel an obligation to protect is our values. And so during our interview process, we screen people for values and whether they will align with our values. And during our performance reviews, it's values. And when we give employee awards, they're peer nominated on values. And one of the ones that I feel like is a differentiator for us, particularly like in the Silicon Slopes tech scene, is this value called teamwork over ego. Lucid tends to attract very smart people, but who have low ego in the sense that they are open to hearing lots of ideas, and that when an idea, like the best idea, rises to the top, that other people set aside their ego and say, I'm going to get behind that and back that up. And it has been a wonderful experience for me on the executive team, who have lots of strong opinions about how lots of things should go, but that we do have a clear way forward, and that we set aside our egos and do that. I'll also say it's been very refreshing to be around lots of leaders, and not just the executive level, like all throughout the whole company, that anytime there's, I don't know, a congratulations or a celebration, like, oh, you did such a good job, almost immediately the person will say, oh, I couldn't have done it without, and then they give credit where credit's due. And oftentimes that's to their team members. And it's just so refreshing to be part of a group like that. And so that's why I put as my favorite value, teamwork over ego. Thank you so much for having us today, and happy to answer questions of you all after we do some more introductions.
Thank you, Kat. And next we are going to hear from Peter.
Hey, thank you. It's hard to follow Kat. She's also great. But we did brief high-level intros. I think I'll focus in on my favorite Lucid value, and it's this idea of passion and excellence in every area in everything that we do. You know, I have this personal belief, regardless of what you believe in. I think one thing that we can all mostly agree upon is that time is a very valuable resource. It's finite, right? Money will come and go, but time is something that we have to spend. And if we're going to spend a lot of our time, our waking hours in our careers, in our work, in our life's work, why not do something meaningful? And that's what drew me to Lucid. It's this idea that we have this opportunity to make that dent, however big, it's up to us, but we can make that dent in the universe, right? This idea that at a foundational level, we as humans, as people, we communicate best when we do so visually. And someone's got to put that in the cloud. Someone's got to make that technologically available to the entire world. Why not us? And so that's what gets me going, keeps me excited, keeps me here at Lucid. In addition to what Kat talked about, you know, the teamwork over ego, the great people. I think Lucid, you know, it's been something, an important value for our CEO, Carl, from day one, is to just always bring on great people. You know, sometimes timing doesn't align, but sooner or later, you know, if you're aligned with what we're doing and you're passionate about what you do, you'll find a place here on our team at Lucid, and it's what makes Lucid such a special place to be. So thank you everyone for having us as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. Next, we'll hear from Candace.
Hello again, everyone. Peter and Kat are both hard to follow, so I will try to make this as interesting as possible, but remember, I am the accounting person on the team. So one thing I wanted to highlight is my favorite Lucid value, and talk about how my team, they live it, and I don't feel like I'm exaggerating this when I say that they live it every day. So my favorite value is individual empowerment, initiative, and ownership. So as you can imagine, as we're a rapidly growing company, the accounting function has to scale with the organization. So we cannot be the team that is like the tail that wags the dog that says, oh no, you can't actually open an office in Australia because we're not ready for that, or whatever it is that the company wants to do. The accounting team actually needs to get on board and move quickly. And a secret recipe, I guess you could say, or like the secret sauce is our ability to empower each other, and then also being empowered by our leaders, but then also taking initiative and ownership. Not one person on my team was not one of them showed up to their first day on the job and said, okay, where's my job manual? Tell me exactly what I need to do. They've all played a big part in building what it like this big ship that we're on, that is not a sinking ship, by the way. I talked about sinking ships earlier. We're going places and we're going there quickly, and the team knows they have to rise to the occasion. If they don't know something, they need to research or connect with someone who does know it. We spend a lot of time talking with other companies to ask them how they've gone about the things that we've done, because we know that's one of the best ways to get there quickly, is to not reinvent the wheel every single time. And really just taking ownership. We love teamwork over ego also. So we do a lot of locking arms and tackling problems together amongst the team and then with other teams. But I do want to say, like, this isn't for everyone, and that's okay. You know, if you're someone who is looking at, you know, like you're graduating or you're trying to figure out what your career is going to look like, if you are that person that wants to show up on day one and be given a manual of what your job is going to look like, that's okay. I think it's just really important to identify what is it that's going to make you tick. Are you going to want to be in this rapid growing kind of this rapidly growing culture and just always on your toes, and you go home tired because you applied yourself every single day? Or do you want to be kind of more helping to just maintain? It's okay. You just have to figure out, I think, like what it is that you want to do. But it is sure fun to take a minute and talk about these things, because we are moving so quickly. It's easy to kind of just get caught up in all of it. So thank you all for giving us the opportunity to like take a step back and think about the fun that we're having, and to be able to relay that to you all.
I love that, Candace, and I think you followed up really well. So next we will hear from Matt. Oops.
Yeah, so I've been at Lucid for about 5 years now. Fun fact, when I started at Lucid, I actually thought I was the oldest guy at Lucid, because I looked around at the people that were kind of more mature, and I could tell by looking on LinkedIn that Carl Sun, our CEO, was a little younger than me, and my own boss, Brian Pugh, is a little younger than me. And most of the people that Lucid hires, or many of them, are fresh out of college, so it's very easy to tell that I'm older than them. I later found out that there's one other engineer that was a couple years older than me, but for a while I thought I was the oldest guy. At any rate, a little bit more about me. I have 4 sons. 3 of the 4 have done CS at BYU, and the other one's doing CS at the U. So computer science runs deep in my family. And then I do have 4 grandkids as well. There's you can see a picture of 3 of the 4 there. The 4th was just born back in July, so just a brand new baby. But we have a lot of fun with my kids and with my grandkids. One of the things that I always enjoyed with my 4 boys is playing board games, and we still get together frequently and have a board game night with them, and working on the grandkids. Hopefully we'll initiate them into that here soon. Why I ended up at Lucid, like I mentioned, I came from the video game industry, and I had opportunities to stay there even after the studio I was at closed down. But I was kind of ready for a change, but also hadn't really looked out at the industry too much at what else was around. But I knew that there was a lot more web development and that kind of opportunities in this area. And so when someone from Lucid reached out to me, I hadn't heard of Lucid, but I was interested just because of the fact that they're in the web development space. But I looked at the products and I was super impressed with the products. Came and interviewed with the people, and I could tell it was kind of a young company, both in terms of the age of the company as well as the people that work there. But I was really impressed that people seemed excited about what was going on, and it reminded me a lot of the first company I worked for that was also a private company, where like everything you did felt important. You knew the things you were doing were helping the company grow, and you knew the things you were doing helped customers, and providing a product and a service that people appreciated. And I felt like it was a good chance to just try something new and really feel kind of the value of the things I was doing every day. I had worked at bigger companies like Microsoft and Disney, and those were great. I loved working there as well, but there was definitely times where the process just felt like it was in the way, and sometimes things that you wanted to fix, you couldn't get a wedge in anywhere to make changes. And Lucid is not that way at all. You've heard people talk about the different values, and the interesting thing from my perspective is at Microsoft and Disney, they did have company values, and I think we talked about them exactly one time a year, whenever we had like a big company meeting. And so it was all rah rah around the values. I don't even remember what the values were, but then you go back to your work and you just get your work done. You don't worry about what the company values are. And that's very much the opposite at Lucid. When I started hearing about company values at Lucid, that was my initial reaction too. It was like, okay, we've got company values, great. But they really do come into how we hire, how we review people, and we make sure that as people are being good examples and doing things that exemplify those company values, that we recognize those and reward them. So it is something that's kind of an upward spiral, I would say, for Lucid, that it helps us in every way in the business. My own personal favorite value, it's hard to really pick one because I think they all are important, but I put down individual empowerment, initiative, and ownership, because that is really kind of the reason I came to Lucid, even though I didn't necessarily know that was a company value. Is I felt like it was a place where I could come and see how the things I did made a difference for the company and for the customers. So that's me.
That's great. Thank you so much, Kat, Peter, Candace, and Matt, for just sharing a little more insight into your personal lives and the reasons why you love being at Lucid. We hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Lucid and meeting our leaders. And I think now we're going to turn it over to Sarah to open up for some questions.
Okay, thank you, everyone. It's so fun to hear more about, your values and all of that stuff and how they actually are important, not just a once a year thing. So go ahead, everyone, post some questions in the chat, and we'll let you guys decide who wants to answer them. First, I just wanted to make a comment though. One other of the hats that I wear, I actually teach at UVU, career and major exploration class. And mine is a live stream class. And so something like this is really helpful, where I have a lot of visual learners, and to be able to like interact with them and have them see, we can do some brainstorming things with the Lucid products, and things like that. So I just wanted to call that out and how that can be helpful. One question that we have for you is, what's the biggest challenge for a fast growing company?
Yeah, when you think about that, it's there's a lot that's changing, a lot is moving. I think for us and the sales team, communication and communication protocols were really big, right? Because as you're growing so fast, it can be easy for one team to be doing something, work on initiative, and another team not to realize that other work is being done. So it prevents duplication of work or any frustration there. So communication's big, and then that kind of dovetails into just the processes. I'm sure Kat can, being head of overseeing all of our people ops. I know she works really closely with our CEO and COO. To make sure that our processes are always being looked at and changed. Right? We've had to go through an evolution of that. And I think, our president, Dave Grohl, addressed our team several years ago at one of our company retreats, reminded everyone and asked everyone to give each other the benefit of the doubt. And I think as we've done that, it's been easier to be more patient or to be understanding, right? Like we're all passionate about what we're doing. Sometimes, with the lack of communication or executing one way or the other can cause some frustration. So giving everyone the benefit of the doubt has definitely helped there.
I'll add on to what Peter said. When we're growing really fast, first of all, it's really exciting. Like, it's really cool to see, build something, right? Like build the team, build the process, build a new product. I mean, that is really, really rewarding. Where the hurdles are is scaling the rest of the business to keep up with as fast as you're going. What the type of tools and technology and the resources you have are much more, limited when you're 50 employees, 100 employees, versus 1,000 employees. And so I feel like we've been constantly evolving, which tools that we use to be more efficient, to communicate better, what those processes are. And then that kind of like that change management to get people like on board of like, hey, this is how we're doing it now, has been a muscle that I've had to, learn how to use, which has been really good. But because like how Peter said, and Peter, I actually remember, I remember that retreat about our COO saying like, let's give each other the benefit of the doubt. And that has been so helpful as sort of like, oh, this is the new process, or this is the new tool, or like, let's do it this way, has made things a lot smoother than maybe perhaps at other places.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, so next question is, what are your top 3 products in terms of sales dollars? And why are they your top 3 products, and which products have the highest growth potential?
Well, since we have 3 products, just kidding. Peter, do you want to talk about this a little bit, or because it's just so like with sales?
Yeah, that's a tricky one when you talk about like potential. It's really depends on the client, right? It depends on the prospect to whom we're talking. If we're doing our job as a good go-to-market and sales revenue team, we need to make sure that we understand the client and the client's needs. And so I would actually say that it depends, right? You can go with just traditional Lucid chart. There's a lot of potential there in terms of profit driving and driving users, because we've been doing it for so long. It's been our core product. But you could also argue that with our new product offerings, that as you find clients that really need that there's a high potential there. So it's going to depend case by case, and I think that's what makes it exciting. Being here at Lucid, being on the sales team is getting to understand the business problems the unique business problems that each customer faces, and how we can help there, and which product line would work best.
What is your top product that you guys have?
And what do you mean by top? Are you talking about in terms of users, revenue?
In terms of most popular.
Yeah, again, right now it'd be Lucid Chart, just because it's been around longer, right?
Yeah.
Much longer. But if you look at like the growth of our other products and Lucid Spark, there's been a lot of momentum because of COVID. Thanks to COVID, the hybrid remote work is such a thing now, is forefront on executives' minds, and companies are thinking about it. It's grown really fast, so there's a lot of momentum there. So I wouldn't be surprised if over time you see the popularity kind of gets spread around from Lucid Chart as well.
Okay, thank you. So speaking of COVID, how do you guys operate? Do you have a lot of remote workers, or do you do a lot of in office? I know it depends on like what area you are in, but kind of tell me what that looks like.
Matt, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So when COVID hit, we were all before it hit, we were all 100% in the office. Almost. We had a few remote workers, and I think sales has a few people that are sort of in the field, so to say. But most of us were working in the office. Of course, with COVID, and because of the type of business we are, we're able to work remotely for the most part. And so at that point, back in like March of last year, we did start working remotely, and we have been remote ever since then. We do have a strong desire to get back in the office. We feel like there's a lot of value in the collaboration and in the connections you get by actually being physically with people. I know personally, I've definitely benefited by just bumping into people and getting to know them, whether it's just in the lunchroom or passing in the hallways. Lucid does a lot to try to connect us together. Like every year we do a yearly retreat. I don't know if that has been mentioned before, but we do a yearly retreat where everybody in the company gets together, and it's mostly 3 days of downtime where there's some organized activities you can do, and there's a few company meetings just to help us get all on the same page with company initiatives and help everybody see what their role is can fit in to help the company. But it's a lot of just whatever you want to do. People bring board games and they play board games. There are activities like horseback riding and water sports, and basically anything anybody would be interested in. There was activities there, and then you just show up, and whoever's there, you kind of get to know them, which is great. And so, as I mentioned, we do have a strong desire to get back in the office. And I think it was it June, Kat, when we opened the office for
June.
those who wanted to be in the office. And right now we are requiring that people be vaccinated in order to be in the office. And so we've slowly seen people come back, and there's some people that are in the office every day and others that come in a little less often. I know personally, I come in about once a week, and I really enjoy getting to see people and actually interact in person. But recently we also started catering lunches on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Again, we used to do it Mondays and Fridays. As we return to the office, we're asking people to be in the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which right now might be in January. And then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are optional. So they can work from home on those days if they want. And that'll allow us to do in-person meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays and still get a lot of that networking and connection on those days. And then for those that prefer to work from home, they can do that. So.
Okay, thanks. I like all the options that you guys provide, because at this point, we don't know if COVID will ever end. So we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully it ends.
I know. Also, send me the details on your retreat. That sounds fun. Okay, so our next question is, how much of your scaling has been through acquisition, and what best practices have you had to help the companies you acquire to embrace your values?
So we thus far have not acquired, it's organic growth. We have not acquired other companies. There's been times that we've looked at it and it just wasn't quite the right fit as we went through due diligence. And so, yeah, all organic growth.
Okay. Do you know if you would ever consider acquisition in the future?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be the right strategic fit for sure. But yeah.
Okay, perfect. What is your projected growth as far as hiring goes?
So we are literally like this next week or two starting to finalize our head count, like getting real about numbers, but it's anticipated to be at least, it'll be probably more than 50% growth net new by the end of next year. So more growth, lots of growth.
Awesome. So for internships, tell me what, I'll ask a specific internship. So tell me what an engineering internship would look like, what kind of the day-to-day looks like, and follow-up and that type of thing.
Yeah, so for an engineering intern, we honestly treat them a lot like we would treat a new hire that was going to be full-time. And so we have them join one of our engineering teams, just to give a little bit of a snapshot of what that looks like. Our engineering teams are usually about 3 to 5 engineers, and usually a mix of levels of experience, everything from, someone that's been there less than a year to people that have been at Lucid for 5+ years. And one of the engineers will be the team lead, and with those engineers, there'll be a PM, which is a project or a program manager, a UX person that helps with designing user interface and user experience, and then a QA person. And so most of the teams end up being, 5 to 8 people total. And so an intern would join one of those teams, and one of the engineers on the team would be their mentor. And the mentor would work closely with them to help them understand all of our engineering processes. And for the first few weeks, they would actually spend quite a bit of time with them, but the interns will get to know the team, and the entire team will become the resource, within a few weeks. But the mentor is there for the entire time, and whenever something comes up, they can help. But they would just work on the same projects that the team works on, so they don't get a special intern project. They're just helping the team accomplish whatever goals that team has. So very much real world experience, and by the time their internship's done, they usually have something they can point to in one of our products that they can show off to future companies they're interviewing with, or to families and friends, and say, that's what I did during my internship at Lucid.
Yeah, and I'll speak for the university side. That's something that we look for to have our students do, is an actual project that is something that they can point to and be like, hey, I helped do this. It wasn't just some useless job. So we really appreciate that. a little more follow-up on internships. How far in advance do you hire for interns? And is there a set time the interns can stay at the company?
I can answer that for engineering, and maybe Kat will want to take it for other internships. But we're actually starting to interview for internships for next summer right now. We don't necessarily have a certain amount of lead time, but we do tend to fill them up pretty quick. So usually by December, they'll all be full for the next summer. So I think that covers most of it.
I'll let Lauren handle the other question about internships.
Yeah. So sorry, could you just repeat, was it how long a typical internship is at Lucid?
Yeah, is there like a set time, like a semester or a year?
I think most of our internships are about 12 weeks. So they usually do, they usually start in May and end in like at the end of August to the beginning of September.
Okay, perfect.
And we have had some internships extend. There are some like legal requirements that you like, it needs to be seasonal work. And then also you can't extend more than like, I think it was like a total of 6 months within one calendar year, just because of like the ACA and other various laws. But we have other people extend their internships.
Okay, perfect. So this kind of is, I mean, probably the same answer that you kind of talked about with the internship, but what type of work would a new college hire typically do at Lucid?
I think that depends on the team that they're joining, but I do know, I hear time and time again, our interns really do. They actually get in and they actually are assigned projects. They make real impact on the work that they're doing. So yeah, as Matt mentioned, they kind of jump in on the engineering side and they have their teams and they work on something directly that's related to the product. But then we have a lot of other internships that just do basically, I think, whatever their team needs at the time, extra hands-on.
Perfect, thank you. What's one thing that differentiates Lucid from other intelligent diagramming companies out there?
I'd say our people. They don't have people as passionate as us. No. Again, it's gonna go down to use case. Where we win a lot of our deals is because a lot of the other competitors will focus in on a certain part of the process, right? In terms of whether it's ideation, taking that idea, turning it into reality, implementing it into your business, or deploying the idea. They usually focus in on one piece of it, and where we've got a really great footing and advantage in the market is that we're able to, with the Lucid suite of products, you're able to do all of that, right? Instead of having to use multiple solutions, like use solution X for this part of the process, solution Y for this, and then solution Z to implement, you can actually use the Lucid suite of products for all of it, from brainstorming to reality to integrating within your existing business systems. And it's super powerful. And it's great when customers see that, they're like, it's a no-brainer, the power that Lucid can bring to their world.
Yeah, I love that it's all one solution, because going to so many different things for everything can be a bit much. So it's nice when they talk to each other as well. Do you guys have any new products that are coming up in the pipeline?
There's always new things that are being worked on, for sake of just confidentiality. We won't discuss that too far in depth here, but know that R&D is really important to Lucid. We're always, we've got such great people that are, I know Matt's really close to that with his teams. Is they're the front line of building these things. A lot of things come through ideation. We have really awesome hackathons as well, like really amazing. Over this short period of time, you see what these engineering teams can come up with. So there's that, right? The spirit of innovation is there in that fun activity that we do as a company. And then there's always significant dollars being spent, time, dollars, and resources being spent in R&D for where we take our existing products and then what new products we develop. So yes, we're always developing, but for sake of time and confidentiality, we won't go too far in depth on that right now.
Yeah, I figured some of it might be kept on the DL. So
I felt like that was a test. This is being recorded. So.
Just want to know.
I was getting ready to jump in and be like,
you work for one of our
Cat just waiting.
Just wanted to make sure there was cool things coming. Okay.
I mean, like to give you an example, like Lucid Spark, which is that digital whiteboarding solution, like one of the products, from ideation to launch, it was 4 months. Like we have incredible people that you get to work with. And it was like a full company, everybody on board. It was a really hard challenge to do that, but with amazing results. And again, like, I don't know, I'm just so proud to be with the people that I work with and get to do exciting things like that.
Well, it's a really fast launch. That's really exciting. University, we have about a launch of about 2 years before something happens.
I joke. I mean, I came from the legal world, which is not the fastest as well. And you know what some, I don't know, what some industries might take a year, we do in a month, and what a month is like a couple days is what it kind of feels like. It moves really fast.
Yeah, I love that. Because then you can move fast with what's happening in the market. So our next question is, with tech company growth in Silicon Slopes, how are you viewing market saturation for engineering talent? Is it not a problem, or is there a need to hire more outside of Utah or more remote teams?
Yeah, that's a good question. At Lucid, in the engineering department, we hire a lot of entry-level people, and we've had a lot of really good success hiring both from BYU as well as the U and USU. But especially in the last couple of years, we've really opened up and started interviewing a lot more widely throughout the country. And so we get applications from, I would say, probably pretty much every major university. And we've hired from many. This last year, we've hired from Cornell and from MIT and from Berkeley. Basically across the country, you name a university, we've at least interviewed people, if not hired people from there. So yes, we definitely feel like we need to reach outside of Utah and looking at other opportunities for doing that in coming years. One of the bigger pain points for us is hiring senior engineers, because senior engineers are usually very happy at the companies they're at if they're good engineers, and so we haven't really cracked that nut yet. And we do hire. It's not like we're not hiring any. We'd like to hire more than we have been able to, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So we're working on that, and it feels like if we had a lot more senior engineers in the area, probably every company would snap them up as quickly as they became available. So
yeah. So Kat, this is probably a question for you to put you on the spot. Do you have some sort of percentage or number of applications to who you actually hire?
There is, but my director of talent acquisition would know the numbers right off the top of her head. We do get a lot of applications.
Pretty competitive.
It's pretty competitive. So
yeah, I can tell you for engineering, of the engineers we interview, about 1 in 10 will get an offer. I don't know how many actually apply. There's a lot that apply that we don't ever interview, so I don't know the number on that. But.
Right, for sure. Okay, thanks. Our next question is, would Lucid be interested in hiring students with an associate's degree, or do you prefer students finishing their bachelor's?
Maybe the person can clarify, like for an internship or for a full-time position?
I would say for an entry-level position.
For an entry-level position. Yeah. So we'll consider anybody. I mean, we'll consider all levels of experience. I mean, quite frankly, we've hired people that have had no college degree, right? And so a lot of it deals with like level of experience, skill sets that they're bringing, and then also like, will they be living the Lucid values? Like I could have the smartest person in the room, the smartest, I don't know, engineer that just has been coding since they were 5 years old and, didn't even go to college type of thing. But if they have such a big ego that they're going to shut down other people's ideas and that sort of thing, then they don't even get like a team interview. So we take it really seriously.
Yeah, I think that's something that helps students want to apply there, is that it's about the soft skills, and your personality and your values are regarded more highly than tech skills. So some people have those, they can learn quickly,
But I would say equal. Like I would say not maybe more than the skills and experience. I think that
Okay.
that it's on par, like the values as well as like the experience.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, our next question is, as a fast-growing company, what are your biggest pain points around building and keeping a solid leadership pipeline?
Candace, we haven't heard much from you, but maybe, I mean, you've done such a good job building out your team. Maybe you can speak to that one.
Yeah, so I like to tell people that we're interviewing that we don't just have core values on our website to make our website look good. We actually live the core values and we hire according to them. And so I spend a lot of time vetting that with the candidates, especially, I mean, I do that with every single person. And I'm actually involved in the interview process for every role on my team, not just for the people who report to me. And we've seen that that's across the company. There is a hyper focus on who we are hiring and ensuring that they can and already do live our core values. So that would be the biggest, that's like that's provided the most success there. And then also just, making sure we spend the right amount of time with the people before we commit to having them join the team. So we invest quite a bit in our hiring efforts, but it pays off. It definitely pays off. And then not only is it important to recruit and hire the right people, but it's also really important to retain them. So I also spend a lot of time investing in my team because I know if my team is happy, they will stay, and then they'll also help me to recruit great talent down the road.
And
Yeah,
I would also add and I agree with everything that Candace said, and she's done such a good job with that with her team. Company wide, we also offer, and we started this when we were about 300 employees. We have a learning and development program. And one of our most popular programs is an 18-month course for leading at Lucid. And what we do is we have the leaders come in and teach those courses. So, somebody who's like regarded as like, I don't know, so good about giving feedback, they're the ones that come in and you learn from them and their experiences like right at Lucid, like you're learning from the very best leaders about that topic. And so that's been a very, popular is the right word, but like a great program to help continue to develop leaders. And so that helps with retention. We also have a very robust mentoring program that actually switches up every 6 months. And so you get a wide variety of mentors like throughout the company as well.
that's really good to know. I like that a lot.
Hey, so Timothy sent me a question, but he sent it just to me. So is it okay if I speak to that one?
Please do.
Okay, so Timothy said, you mentioned that you enjoy streamlining and automating processes for accounting. Do you have any go-to tools that you use? I recently started helping our internal teams with integrations and automations and would be interested in advice, best practices that you have. So I guess it kind of depends on what it is that we're solving for. So in that we use Asana for like our project management tracking. And but I will also say that we use our product. So we use Lucid Chart for any time that we need to like understand the complexities in a process. And it's really helpful to make it visual. So you could talk all day long and tell me about a problem in a process. And I'm like not really good at when people give me directions, my brain kind of shuts down. But if you put it in a Lucid chart and show me what the process looks like, and you can point to like, it's broken here, we repeat this here, then all of a sudden, then I can like join in and see, okay, there is a problem we need to solve for this. And then also we use our Lucid Spark when we're, remote and needing to ideate and whiteboard or, bucket items and talk about like, where do things belong, and even strategize and talk about maybe the most important items that we want to automate first. Because, I'm sure, Timothy, as you've gone about making improvements and working on this, you realize there's a lot that can and needs to be improved. So prioritizing is super helpful. So I hope that's a helpful answer. Like that wasn't just a sales pitch. I really do. I love working for Lucid because I am passionate about the tools that we provide and the team. So I hope that's helpful. Do you have any other questions along those lines?
No, I mean, I think that helps for the first process, the first steps, obviously. We do use Lucid Chart. And so I've been using that to help teams to understand the flows in the process and where the challenge may be.
Mhm.
And then after that is trying to figure out which other tools to solve that problem with, and so
It
I
probably
think the
depends.
combination of both.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the problem that you're solving for. Like if it's an accounting system problem, my recommendation would be implement NetSuite. If it's like expense reimbursements, I'd say don't use Expensify. Well, we currently use them and we're trying to move away. But it kind of depends on the specific problem that you're trying to solve for. But if you would like, feel free to send me an email with more details, and I'd be happy to take this offline and make additional recommendations based on whatever it is that you're trying to solve.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we're gonna have one last question. In your training process, do you have a few basic elements that you wish every applicant should know before they apply, and what are those? I mean, I would say values, you've brought that up, but is there anything else?
Yeah, one thing that's really important is information is available at your fingertips now, right? You can almost find almost anything. And so for candidates that come in, it's important that they show that they've taken the time to really understand Lucid, understand the position, understand the opportunity, and they can articulate that, right? Hopefully you've gotten that from talking to, during this session, just the passion and that drives and motivates us. While we come from diverse backgrounds, the common bond that we share is just this passion for what we're doing. And so it's important for the candidate, and not just for Lucid, I think it's for everything, is to take the time to do your homework and to really understand why you personally might be interested in whichever opportunity you're looking into. And that'll go a long way.
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks for answering all of our millions of questions and giving us a little presentation. I will send this recording out to everybody who registered, and I will also include names and email addresses so that everyone can connect with each other. So if there are any further questions, that we can do that.